Hi everyone, hello and welcome to International Royals TV. Thank you for clicking. Please thumbs up if you haven't already and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for being here. So today we are continuing on with Prince Philip's life history and we are on session number 14 and it's called Personality and Image in terms of Prince Philip's life history, and the source I'm reading from is Wikipedia. So let's go. Personality and image. Philip's down-to-earth manner was attested to by a White House butler who recalled that on a visit in 1976, Philip engaged him and a fellow butler in a conversation and poured them drinks, as well as a reputation for bluntness and plain speaking. Philip was noted for occasionally making observations and jokes that have been construed as either funny or as gaffes, awkward, politically incorrect, or even offensive, but sometimes perceived as stereotypical of someone of his age and background. In an address to the General Dental Council in 1960, he jokingly coined a new word for his blunders. Oh my goodness, I can't pronounce this myself. Let's give it a try. Dontopedology? Dontopedology? Dontopedology. I don't know. Is the science of opening your mouth and putting your foot in it. Now, that is quite funny. A science which I have practiced for a good many years. Later in life, he suggested his comments may have contributed to the perception that he was a cantankerous old sod. Oh, wow. In a private conversation with British students from Xi'an's Northwest University during a state visit to China in 1986, Philip joked, "If you stay here much longer, you'll go slit-eyed." Oh my goodness, that's not a very good joke. What's the word? No, that's not a very good joke. That could be misconstrued 100%. Anyway, let's continue. The British press reported on the remark as indicative of a racial intolerance. Exactly. Yeah, that wasn't very nice. Yeah, I picked up immediately. But the Chinese authorities were reportedly unconcerned. Oh, they got a sense of humor then. Chinese students studying in the UK, an official explained, were often told in jest not to stay away too long, lest they go round-eyed. Touche. We are talking about Prince Philip's life history, and he made a joke when he was in China, and then literally the Chinese people made the joke back. So that was what I found quite funny. All right, I'll read the passage again, just so in case the benefit of you that are just joining, I found that bit quite funny, that they returned his joke. Prince Philip. Okay, so let me read the paragraph again. In a private conversation with British students from Xi'an's Northwest University during a state visit to China in 1986, Philip joked, "If you stay here much longer, you'll go slit-eyed." I know that part I didn't find funny, but listen to the return. The British press reported on the remark as indicative of a racial intolerance, but the Chinese authorities were reportedly unconcerned. Chinese students studying in the UK, an official explained, were often told in jest not to stay away too long lest they go round-eyed. that's what that's the part I found funny. Anyway, let's continue. His comment did not affect Sino-British relations, but it shaped his reputation. Philip also made comments on the eating habits of Cantonese people, stating, "If it has four legs and is not a chair, has wings, and it's not an airplane or swims, and it's not a submarine, the Cantonese will eat it. Oh my gosh, Prince Philip, yeah, definitely a personality. Some of these things I don't even think he should be saying as a joke, but anyway, that's what he said. Source I'm reading from is Wikipedia, if you'd like to follow it up. In Australia, he asked an Indigenous Australian entrepreneur, "Do you still throw spears at each other?" Oh my gosh, nah. Some of his jokes he thought he was being funny, but obviously different races could have termed it as, yeah, a bit not very good. Let's continue. In 2011, historian David Starkey described Philip as a kind of HRH, Victor Meldrew. For example, in May 1999, British newspapers accused Philip of insulting deaf children at a pop concert in Wales by saying, "No wonder you are deaf listening to this row." Oh my gosh. I think he had jokes. He had a personality. He had jokes, but his jokes were very insensitive. That's what I'll say. Yeah, very, very insensitive. But that was the personality of Prince Philip. And source I'm reading from is Wikipedia. If you'd like to follow up on his personality traits, it's all written there. I'm just reading it. Yeah, wow. He thought he was funny, but a lot of his jokes were let's leave it at that. Let me continue reading. Yeah, no. Later, Philip wrote, "The story is largely invention. It so happens that my mother was quite seriously deaf, okay, and I have been patron of the Royal National Institute for the Deaf for ages, so it's hardly likely that I would do such a thing." Even though he was a patron and all that, you still have to be sensitive when you're dealing with sensitive matters. I don't think it's something to joke about, but that's what he did, and he found it funny, but I don't find it funny. But yeah, let's continue. When he and Elizabeth met Stephen Menery, an army cadet blinded by a real IRA bomb, and Elizabeth inquired how much sight he retained, Philip quipped, "Not a lot, judging by the tie he's wearing." Oh my gosh, see what I'm saying about insensitive? Oh my goodness. Minery later said, "I think he just tries to put people at ease by trying to make a joke. I certainly didn't take offense." Okay, that's good. They didn't take offense because they knew his personality. So he probably didn't mean anything by these things, but another person could have seen it as insensitive. Exactly. Yeah. Philip's comparison of prostitutes and wives was also perceived as offensive after he reportedly stated, "I don't think a prostitute is more moral than a wife, but they are doing the same thing." Oh my gosh, Prince Philip, Prince Philip, Prince Philip. How did the Queen put up with this personality of his? Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, so that brings us to the end of chapter number 14, which was called Personality and Image in terms of Prince Philip's life history. And if you'd like to catch up with anything that I've said here today, it's all on Wikipedia. Um, we also have an audio version which I've put together, and it's called Prince Philip's Life History. And we also have Queen Elizabeth II's life history, Princess Anne's life history, Prince Edward's life history in the playlist section and on the community tab. And on the community tab, you'll find a lot more interesting content on there as well. So I do thank you so much for tuning in. We will be dealing with the next session later on in the evening, and that is called Centenary. I think I've pronounced that right. Forgive me if I haven't. Session number 15 will be called Centenary, and we'll be dealing with that later on in the evening. So if you are just joining the live stream, please could you rewind it back to the beginning to hear today's session, which was session number 14, and it's called personality and image in terms of Prince Philip's life history. Please, could you answer our poll question before you go? And yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I do appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.